In the last video, we discussed what adverse possession is, and we uncovered some truths and myths about if adverse possession was just land or did it include properties. Spoiler alert, yes, you can adverse possess properties or land within the United Kingdom. Well, if you've made it to this video, or you've just come across this video, it means you are serious about adverse possession, which is the process of gaining a property or land for free. As simple as that, really. You want an abandoned house, it's time to claim it for free. But if you're at this video, you are here to understand the legalities and the processes that you have to go through to adversely possess property. Now, for adverse possession to work, you need to hit some strict legal conditions. Now, these can be a little tedious, so what I have done is I have broken them down into 5 key points, with number 1 being continual possession. It's as simple as that. It's in the name. You have to continually possess the land. You can't take a break in between, or you can't take over the possession from someone else. You have to continually possess the land throughout the duration of the time. Key factor number 2 is exclusive possession, which is kind of what I mentioned a second ago. Only you. You have to be the sole entity, the sole possessor of this property or land, which is pretty easy to do. You just got to make sure you're putting your mark on things, which I will explain a little deeper shortly. But we're getting on to point number 3 here, which is hostile possession. Now, this doesn't mean aggression. No, we don't want any aggression in adverse possession. We are not aggressive people. We are just claiming abandoned property here, and we don't want to have any issues whatsoever. But this does mean that when you are claiming this piece of land or property, you are doing it without consent of the owner. If you've got consent of the owner, then this is not adverse possession. It's as simple as that. Key point number 4 is be open and notorious about your possession. Now, when you are occupying this piece of land or property, you can't be sleeping in a tent in the woods in the back, or you can't be sleeping in the front room of an abandoned house and making no progress. You know, you could be staying in a tent for 10 years, letting it overgrow. No one's going to believe you have been occupying it. Now, I'm not telling you to shout from the roof, "Hello, I am occupying this piece of land." That's not what we're looking for. All we're looking for is for you to just make some progress with it. Cut the grass, do up the house, things like this. It doesn't take a lot. You just need to show usage of the property. Which leads straight into point number 5, which is actual possession, which is usage of the property completely. So, for instance, if you have a piece of land, what you could do is you could put a shed on this piece of land and store your tools in it. That's just an example. Obviously, put a fence around the piece of land to show, there you go, that's your piece of land. Or if you have a house, take over the house. Start renovating it, start doing bits of work, maybe even rent the property out, because that actually shows ownership. If there is a legal contract and someone is paying you, that's ownership right there. Now, here is where things get interesting, as the rules slightly differ from property ownership to land ownership, aka adverse possession. So land is often easier to adverse possess. Now, you may be wondering why, but the truth is it's because it's neglected. You might find a piece of overgrown land and you want to claim it, and you are openly using this piece of land. This is going to be such an easier process to claim some land. Now, residential homes can be harder to claim, since homes tend to have active owners or mortgages or family ties, and if someone with a legal claim reappears, your case does weaken. But on the flip side, many people have moved abroad, or they are unaware that they have even inherited a property. So, claiming a property might be easier, so it might be worth deep diving into the owner. Not necessarily to reach out, but to find out, first of all, are they dead? Do they have any living relatives? And if so, if they're in the country. So, just consider that in mind. It's not an impossibility, not a chance. It's not an impossibility to claim a house. And additionally, there is also commercial property, the toughest category. Specifically, businesses and corporations rarely abandon properties without keeping some form of legal control, and if a company owns it, they probably have a legal team monitoring it. This isn't me saying that you shouldn't take over a commercial property, it's just saying you have to think about the factors. Again, you can just buy the title and see who owns it and work out a plan from there. So we're just going to slide over for a quick second to a part of the video which is going to interest a lot of people not in the United Kingdom, as I have a lot of people reaching out in regards to adverse possession and what you can do if you live in another country. So I've just got a list here on my screen which I'm just going to go through about the different laws for other countries. So for the United Kingdom, it's typically around 10 years continuous to claim a property, which, you know, we understand, and for unregistered land it's going to be 12 years. Now, moving on to the United States, the time frame varies state by state. Some states require only 5 years, like California. I bet you didn't know that. And if you pay the proper taxes as well, that goes in your favour. Whereas there are some other states which require 20 years or more. Again, if you are in America, I would highly recommend for you to do your research state by state until I'm in a good position to fly out to America and make some videos on this. Now, Australia. I've had a couple of people reach out about Australia. Generally, that is 12 to 15 years, dependent on the region. Canada, most provinces require 10 years, but some do require longer. Again, it's always wise to do your own research and not just trust a guy on YouTube. Even though I'm spitting what I know, I'd rather you know, double check everything for safety reasons. And Europe, obviously, there's many countries in Europe and the EU and everything. Laws do vary massively from country to country, where some countries make it almost impossible to adversely possess property, and then there's situations like Spain, where people are land grabbing every single day. Now, the key takeaway to this is if you're thinking about adverse possession, make sure you check the specific laws where you live. I hope everyone does do that. And some places do have shorter time frames, but others might make it impossible unless you meet very strict conditions. Again, I would love to make some videos on other countries and adverse possession, so I have a donation link down below if you want to donate for me to fly out to your country and make some videos on that. So let's just reiterate here, how long do I need to stay to claim ownership? Now, that does depend, but land is often around the 10-year mark, can extend to 20 years. Homes can sometimes be longer, some can sometimes be shorter. Again, a lot of it is actually on a case-by-case basis with your local council or constituency. I bet you didn't know that. Yes. And commercial buildings, obviously, if you're trying to claim it and you are living in it, expect a long process, I would say. Again, it's not impossible, and you might be able to find some loopholes that I'm not aware of, but just be aware that commercial properties may take longer. But also remember that under new laws, you can actually change commercial to residential. So just consider that in mind. Okay, so now we have a solid understanding of the legal framework to adverse possession and what's required in regards to the legal timeframes and the differences between land, home and commercial properties. In the next video, we're going to be actually diving into how to find abandoned land and properties. That is going to be really exciting to do. I can't wait to record the next video and go along with it with you guys. So please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Comment down below any questions you have, because at the end of this series I'm going to do a massive Q&A video of any questions which are asked over this series. Thank you so much for watching. Adios, my mis amigos. I shall see you guys all in the next video, which will be up very soon. Check the description below for lots of links. Trust me, lots of links to help. I'm going to help you completely along the way. Adios. Bye-bye. Yes.